What is cancel for any reason travel insurance? Cancel for any reason travel insurance, what we call CFAR travel insurance, is the creme de la creme of travel protection plans because travelers who buy these plans can cancel their trip for literally any reason and they can get 75% of their money back. The CFAR plans are a comprehensive package of insurance benefits for all kinds of travel. You've got coverage for the trip, the traveler's medical bills, and the things that they bring along. But let's talk about the real difference between a typical trip cancellation plan and a cancel for any reason plan. Think about it like this. You buy a trip cancellation insurance plan, and we'll say there are two covered reasons for canceling your trip. One, you got COVID-19 and can't travel. Two, a family member passed away. If you canceled your trip because you got COVID and can't travel, you'll be eligible for a 100% refund of all prepaid lost trip expenses. If you canceled because you were worried of getting the coronavirus, then you wouldn't be covered at all. Zero money back. Now, it's a totally different story if you bought a CFAR plan. You can cancel because you're worried of getting sick and can still get 75% of your prepaid lost trip expenses back because you have a CFAR plan. It's not a 100% refund, but it's better than canceling and not getting anything back. To use these services, you have to follow plan requirements. So it's important to know these 6 key facts before buying cancel for any reason travel insurance. Number 1, you have 7 to 21 days to buy a CFAR plan after you make your first trip payment. 2, many plans require you to cover the full cost of your trip, but not all of them. 3, cancel for any reason cannot be purchased as a sole benefit. 4, if you accept a future travel credit or voucher for canceling your trip, your CFAR claim won't be paid. 5, CFAR won't give you a full reimbursement, so be sure to set realistic expectations. And 6, you can't cancel your trip at the last minute and qualify for CFAR claims. You need to cancel 48 hours or more before departure. So, now that you know what cancel for any reason travel insurance is and the key basics, you're ready to start shopping for your plan. How to use cancel for any reason travel insurance. No one wants to cancel their travel plans. That is, until they have to. From things like travel advisories and pandemics to pregnancy and breakups, people have felt a shift in their lives that left them asking, is this trip really worth it right now? And that's what cancel for any reason travel insurance is for. We're going to get into how you can use CFAR plans to avoid decision-making anxiety and financial agony. If you need to cancel your trip for a reason that's not covered, you'll need to know how to do that and file a claim. The first thing you'll need to consider is when exactly you have to cancel. Cancel for any reason can only be used up to 2 days before your trip, meaning you have to cancel 48 hours or more before your scheduled departure to get your claim paid. And you need to remember to cancel with your travel company, cruise line, or airline before you file your travel insurance claim. The insurance company needs to know that you officially canceled 2 days before your trip. Now, because cancel for any reason travel insurance has way more than just CFAR, you'll also want to know how to use your insurance during and after your trip. So let's break it down. Once you start your trip, there are a few benefits and non-insurance services you might need to use. Most commonly, they're used for emergency evacuations, hospital stays, and anything else related to 24-hour emergency services. If you find yourself in a sticky situation, you'll need to call your 24-hour emergency assistance hotline for help. And here are some scenarios where you'll do exactly that. If you get hurt and the hospital needs verification that you can pay for treatment, There you go. If you need an emergency medical evacuation, they'll arrange it for you. If you need a security evacuation because of natural disaster or political unrest, that's your 24-hour assistance. If you need travel assistance because your passport, travel visa, money, or credit cards were stolen, that's where you'd go. Emergency assistance helps you arrange all of these things because they require a lot of work and experience to do so quickly and effectively. It's one of the many benefits of buying travel insurance. Now, let's move on to how to use CFAR after your trip. Most of the benefits that come with CFAR travel insurance work on a reimbursement basis. This isn't much different than a typical travel insurance plan. Things that are catastrophic, like a heart attack or severe accident that requires hospitalization, will often be handled by direct billing because the emergency assistance team is usually involved. For smaller benefits like trip delay, reimbursements are the main form of payment. Typically, you won't file a claim until you've returned home. And here are 5 times you would do exactly that. First off, claims for your things, in case they were damaged, delayed, lost, stolen, are all paid after you get home. 2, you had a trip delay and needed to stay in a hotel room or buy extra meals. 3, you had a trip interruption and you had to end your trip early. 4, you saw a doctor for something minor that you paid for out of pocket. And 5, your itinerary was changed and no other option was provided. Any prepaid expenses you lost for things like excursions and tours would be reimbursed after you've returned home. Where to buy cancel for any reason travel insurance. Cancel for any reason travel insurance, also known as CFAR, is available at the drop of a hat. But not all plans and platforms are created equal, and not every company offering CFAR travel insurance is an expert in what they're selling. CFAR travel insurance is presented in 2 main ways: as its own travel insurance plan or an add-on benefit to an existing trip cancellation plan. There are several places to buy CFAR travel insurance, from a travel agent or supplier, direct from the company, or a comparison site. Now let's get into the details. First up, we have supplier cancel for any reason coverage. A travel supplier is an all-encompassing term for anyone who provides you with travel services. This could be a tour company, a cruise line, or an airline. Travel suppliers can be small, privately owned companies or family-run businesses. It can also be large international brands like Carnival Cruise Lines. When these companies do a lot of business, they often have the ability to design branded products and services, trip protection included. This allows them to keep everything under one roof and streamline the booking process for their customers. However, cancel for any reason coverage can differ from a plan you might buy on your own. When you buy CFAR from a travel supplier, you'll probably get partially reimbursed, 50 to 75%, in the form of a future travel credit or voucher instead of cash back. And future travel credits can only be used during a specific time. They have blackout dates, which are dates blocked out on the calendar, usually holidays or peak travel times. Let's think about it like this. If you have to cancel your trip, do you want to receive your money back or a future travel credit you may or may not use at your discretion? Additionally, important coverage like trip cancellation for bankruptcy, misconnection, trip interruption, and medical emergency and evacuation could be lacking. Coverage for pre-existing medical conditions and non-medical evacuations is often non-existent. This is our least recommended option for buying cancel for any reason. So let's move on to travel agents and insurance brokers. If you booked your trip through a travel pro, they'll probably offer you a cancel for any reason travel insurance plan. But maybe you're one of those people who loves the personal connection you have with your trusted insurance agent or broker. they may be able to offer cancel for any reason plans as well. Travel agents and insurance brokers do earn commissions, but it doesn't change the price of your plan. They tend to offer maybe 1 to 4 providers and can match your coverage with the trip that they've designed for you and that you've booked yourself. Overall, we think buying from someone you have a personal connection with is a great option. Just make sure they're offering a trustworthy company and solid plan. Next up, we'll talk about buying directly from the travel insurance company. Almost all of the CFAR travel insurance plans you hear about through your travel agent, cruise line, airline, or the comparison sites are available directly through the company. Pricing won't change by going directly to the insurance company. No matter where you buy your travel insurance from, there is a legal requirement that pricing remain consistent. Travel agents, brokers, and insurance companies can't sell the insurance at a higher rate to earn more money. When you buy directly from the company, you're connected only through them. You work with their service departments directly. However, what you don't get is free claims advocacy that can help you navigate the claims process with ease should you need to. Additionally, you only get a view of their plans, and this can silo you. Pre-existing conditions coverage may be limited company-wide, but that doesn't mean there isn't a plan out there more suited to your needs. And finally, we'll talk about buying from a comparison site like G1G. Comparison sites operate like an online travel agency. So think Travelocity, Orbitz, Expedia, etc., etc., etc. But instead of focusing on hotel or flight bookings, travel insurance comparison sites focus only on trip insurance. This is how G1G operates. We offer several different plans from different companies, and we specialize in travel insurance. With a comparison site, you'll be able to choose between several different CFAR plans from many different companies. This can really give you an edge on how you buy, because you'll be able to see how varying benefits stack up between competitors. Comparison sites operate differently. For example, G1G uses artificial intelligence to help match the traveler with the best trip insurance for them, while other comparison sites simply alphabetize the results. Additionally, G1G doesn't sell just any provider. We put every company and plan through a 112-point quality assurance check. If things aren't up to snuff, we don't offer it, which is why you don't see some plans or providers on our site that you may be familiar with. Now, these are the top 3 ways of buying CFAR travel insurance, but they aren't the only ways. You can get travel insurance from almost any touch point in travel. These are simply the most highly recommended options. When should I buy cancel for any reason travel insurance, you ask? Great question. You should buy cancel for any reason travel insurance within 21 days of the first payment you make on your trip. That's right. You have 21 days from the day you make your first trip deposit to buy a plan. Now, every CFAR travel insurance plan is different. Some will require that you buy your plan within 7 days of your first payment, while others will require 15 days and so on and so on and so on and so on. What's important to remember is that the maximum number of days you have is 21. If you're sold something after 21 days from your first trip deposit, it's not travel insurance. It could be a voucher program offered by the supplier. You'll get a future travel credit, but you won't get cash back with this type of coverage. And cash back is what we'd all prefer. Am I right? The key point is, travel insurance should be at the forefront of travel planning. You can't buy CFAR insurance as an afterthought. You have to buy it around the time you make that first trip payment. Buy your plan the day you make your first trip payment to ensure you don't forget. So, that's when you should buy cancel for any reason travel insurance. How do I pick a cancel for any reason travel insurance plan? If you're shopping for cancel for any reason, you might be asking, how do I pick a plan? In this video, we're going to break down how to choose the plan that's for you. First up, can you afford to lose the money you've spent on your trip? There are people out there who don't mind losing a few $100s. There are people out there who don't mind losing a few $1,000. By the way, if you're in the latter group, who are you and what do you do for work? I gotta know. If your trip only costs a few $100s, a cancel for any reason travel insurance plan might not be worth the cost. Last-minute trips, domestic family visits, and weekend getaways close to home are a few good examples of the time where CFAR may not be a fit for you. If you're planning a trip that's a few months or years out, has a long list of arrangements, and costs a pretty penny, then CFAR is definitely a great fit. But the driving question is always going to be whether or not you could afford to lose the money you spent that won't be refunded. Will it prevent you from traveling again for an extended period of time? Did it take a long time to save up for this trip? Or did it put you in debt? The question should never be whether or not you plan to cancel, ever. People often think that because they plan a trip, they are locked into it. Well, there is truth to that. There's always something that can come up. Take the pandemic, for example. The pandemic forced people to cancel their trips due to stay-at-home orders, travel advisories, border closures, and so much more. Much of the cancellations stemming from this weren't covered by trip cancellation plans and were only covered by CFAR plans. Next up, ask yourself, are my trip costs non-refundable? If the money you put down on your trip is non-refundable, CFAR is worth considering, especially if your trip costs more than $500. If you cancel your trip and are going to lose the cash you spent, cancel for any reason can act as a buffer and keep you from losing out on your full investment. And finally, ask what other benefits come with the plan. This is an important question. Just because you're searching for CFAR travel insurance doesn't mean you should overlook important coverage like that of emergency medical care or non-medical emergency evacuations. You'll still want to consider these types of benefits when comparing plans. CFAR travel insurance can cost up to 40% more than a typical trip cancellation plan. You want to make sure you're getting your money's worth when you make this investment. Everything you need to file a CFAR travel insurance claim. Here's the thing. Filing a CFAR travel insurance claim isn't much different than a claim for a typical trip cancellation plan. If you want to learn more about the process, check out the ultimate video for filing a travel insurance claim. The link is in the description below. But there are a few things that you'll want to be aware of because even though you're filing a claim for any reason for trip cancellation, you'll need to provide documentation of your losses as well as the time of canceling. You'll also be asked a question here and there that will make you think, but I have CFAR. I don't have to give you a reason. Yeah, you might be able to cancel for any reason under the sun. However, the company has a duty to make sure you aren't filing for a covered reason. If you are filing your claim for a reason covered in your plan by trip cancellation, you're eligible to get 100% of the money back versus CFAR's 50 to 75%. That's a lot better if you ask me. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details, starting with documentation. You're going to need to provide documentation for a CFAR claim. It's partly because the insurance company is required to see if you're canceling for a covered reason, but it also provides them with the information they need for your reimbursement. You'll provide proof of when you paid your deposits as you file your CFAR claim. This shows them that you qualified for cancel for any reason when you bought your plan. Remember, you have up to 21 days after your first payment to buy. Then you'll give them proof of loss. This will show the insurance company what money you lost, so include any payments you made that can't be refunded. Oh, and one more thing. If you took any future travel credits, call these FTCs, from the company at the time you canceled, you'll need to show this in the form of receipts. The insurance company will not credit FTCs as a non-refundable expense, so you will lose the option to get that money back in cash. Let's look at an example. You bought travel insurance with CFAR. If you spent $1,000 on your trip, $250 was refundable, and you opted for a $250 future travel credit. You'll be eligible for 75% of $500, which equates to $375 in cash back. As you can see, filing a CFAR claim is pretty straightforward. By submitting the necessary documentation up front, you'll save yourself a lot of time in the claims process. If the company comes back with additional requirements or questions, your claim will take a bit longer to process. We're all about lightning fast claims here at G1G, so we're happy to help. Remember, when you buy with us, you get free claims advocacy with every policy. And those are our tips for filing a cancel for any reason travel insurance claim. Did you find it useful? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to give this video a good old thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We've got tons of information there.